Oh, hi.
Noon.
Hi, I'm Noon, and it's hot as fuck, outside and inside. Welcome to the desert. So I'm going to be trying to make this a little bit faster than my usual videos, which tend to drone on and on because of it's too goddamn hot. And it's, you're going to hear that AC in the background most likely, because there was just no way I could put all this stuff on and turn that off. I turned it off and it immediately was in like 83 or 84 degrees inside of here. And normally I keep it at between 68 and 72. So that was just flat out unacceptable. Today's video is also going to be a little different in that I've already got a cocktail planned for this. Everything's already prepped and ready. I thought ahead a little bit. How about that? So we're going to try to burn through this relatively quickly. Today's main review is going to be Drumshanbo Irish whiskey, and it's from their Pinot Noir Cask finished edition. If I remember correctly, they make about 1,500 bottles of this per year, and they go for a pretty penny. And I don't remember how much I gave for this one, but looking online, they seem like they go from anywhere from about $85 to $150. I know damn well I didn't give $150 for it, so I probably found it for a good deal somewhere and just completely forgot about it. It's 43% alcohol, and that is pronounced Drumshanbo, as best of my knowledge. Irish tends to be a little bit of a strange language to pronounce, Gaelic or whatever they call it. They have a jackalope. I don't know if the camera will be able to pick that up. I have my lighting set up kind of weird today. Maybe jackalope. Interesting design. It has, I don't know if I already said it, 43% alcohol. And what makes an Irish whiskey different from an American whiskey? Irish whiskeys are usually a lot lighter. They tend to have less vanilla caramel notes, even if they are aged. It tends to be more on the light and fruity and sort of a biscuity flavory profile. Usually a little bit of butter on the nose and stuff like that. It's definitely a bit wider variety than like an American whiskey, which has very strict protocols. Most Irish whiskeys are allowed to use E150 caramel coloring. Drumshanbo proudly does not, which instantly puts it in one of my preferred Irish whiskeys. I don't have their regular offering with me because I drank it too quick. So what does I make do with the fancier one, which is fine. I think it'll suit the cocktail I have in mind just fine. Speaking of that cocktail, the other drink, I'm not going to be reviewing this because it's not really meant to be, I don't think it's meant to be really reviewed, but this is, to the best of my knowledge, this is pronounced Pataka, and it's a goji berry liqueur, and the company itself is French, but the berries they use are from Uzbekistan, because apparently the goji berries from China are a lot of the times apparently not safe for consumption, despite that's what they are meant to be sold for. So the French went to Uzbekistan. I didn't even know Uzbekistan could grow goji berries. So you can see I've had a little bit of this just to kind of taste it and see what was up. And it's 22% alcohol, this is. And the label's kind of chintzy. It's very clear, and it has this tiger on there, and it's I think I got this for like $12, $15. It was on sale at Total Wine. It tastes like this is supposed to be, to best of my knowledge, cognac, low quality cognac, and goji berries, like macerated goji berries, or if you're from Western Europe, wolfberry. But I could not imagine trying to drink this straight. I've seen people make like a spritz out of it with soda water, which is kind of what I have in mind for this, but I'm going to be mixing it with that. My idea is basically a highball with a little bit of that in it. And the reason I'm adding that is because of the soda water. The only soda water I have is Fever Tree, which has quinine in it. And this one particularly, that's a hard word to say when you're dying of heat exhaustion. This one has elderflower in it, and I feel like it having a floral note, and I already know what this whiskey tastes like, and that having the berries, I feel like it's going to play well together to kind of, and that quinine will kind of tamper out a little bit of that exceptional sweetness that's in that Pataka. But moving right along, we're going to get inside of this whiskey. And yes, I have a separate glass I'm going to be making the cocktail in. I pulled it out of the freezer, and I pulled the water. They're in a cooler over here to my left. I don't know why I was pointing to my right when I was describing it, but damn, it's so hot in here that there's like humidity inside of the glass. I hope that doesn't change anything. But it being a 43%, sometimes this is one of those ones where you can add a little drop or two of water, maybe a little bit of humidity will do something. But if I feel like it's different enough, because I know what this normally tastes like, I had a little bit earlier to make sure my palate was ready for this video. If it just tastes way different to me, I will cut, and then I'll go back and I'll do another small sip, because I'm not doing a whole lot because I'm going to be making the cocktail. I'll do another small tasting without. I'll make sure the glass is good and dry. So, the Drumshanbo whiskey is rested inside of used Pinot Noir wine casks. So it's going to have the vanilla notes that I mentioned that Irish whiskey sometimes doesn't have. It doesn't rely on it. But on this side, it's a lot more fruit. We're talking, again, with the Currants, of course, you're getting, it smells like a fresher grape. So if they're using Pinot Noir cask, it must not be a very old Pinot Noir, because it has that very light and fruity blackberry. And I'm starting to get some of those traditional, what I associate with Irish whiskey notes of things like the menthol, which is really common in Irish whiskey. I'm not sure why that is. I sometimes also pick it up in Scotch, but you never find that in an American whiskey. It's always very interesting to me that Ireland and Scotland, one of the, either part of their distillation process or one of the grains they use produces a sort of a menthol. And this one's got a lot of Irish whiskeys will mix malted and unmalted barley, and this one also has Barra oats. I'm not quite sure what that is. I didn't do a whole bunch of research before this video because I knew it was going to be this fast paced. There's one I really wanted to do. Well, there's two I really wanted to do, but one involves having a big explanation beforehand, because you know how I love to explain what the fuck I'm doing, and the other one, it also warrants some explanation, not as much as I was going to do shochu, and the original I should probably start over, but I was going to do shochu originally today, but because I made a comment in one of my other, the Japanese whiskey tasting video I did, where I said I fucking hated shochu. Well, when I started doing the research into shochu, so I could adequately explain what makes it different from, like what makes it separate from vodka, except for the fact that it's half the percentage, I discovered that I'm incredibly ignorant on this subject, and I was drinking it incorrectly. Turns out there's like 4 different ways that most people drink shochu, like the one I have. There's a lot of different shochus, I'm not going to get into all that, but like the one I have, it is typically enjoyed with water and stuff added to it. So like a cocktail straight out the gate, not meant to be drank straight, which is how I was doing it. So me drinking it like a Neanderthal is why I may not have liked it. So I have to go back and try it all over again. That's going to be a whole thing. I'm sweating as we're speaking, so. a lot of honey, some kind of a melon, honeydew or something. There's a lot of sweet inside of their whiskey as it is, but with that Pinot Noir, it's got a whole extra dose of, but it's not like artificial sweetness. It's a good sweetness. That sounds like it's just a cop out. So it's a dumb thing to say, but it has. It's just there's a lot more going on, and it's hard for me to describe because of we're taking whiskey and wine and putting it together, and it's not two things you normally would associate with one another. All right, enough digging around. So, the initial taste, I don't know where it comes from. I'm assuming it's from the Pinot Noir. The initial taste you get is almost like dark chocolate. There's a little bit of bitterness to it, but there's a lot of sweetness to it. And it has that sort of rolling, oily mouthfeel. It feels like dark chocolate. And it's rapidly met with currants, some cranberry, maybe some blackberry, and that's all from the Pinot Noir. And the whiskey is giving off the butteriness, sort of a heather. There's a herbal note. That menthol comes at the end, and it kind of settles across the tongue as a menthol effect often does. I know the humidity didn't affect that enough for me to want to go back and cut that. I'm not saying it because I'm lazy or trying to bypass doing some cleaning or anything. It wasn't enough to alter the flavor. It's super smooth at 43%, endlessly approachable. Is it worth the $100 that this sometimes goes for? That's going to be up to you. I can't, especially with this being the Pinot Noir cask. I, off the top of my head, can't think of any whiskeys that are going to offer a similar flavor profile. But I haven't drank every whiskey in the world, clearly. But it's a sipper. It's still evolving. The fruit, it's fig, kind of a drier. It's starting to kind of dry out. The menthol is worn off. There's almost no burn, and it's only 43%. I know that a lot of folks really prefer the 50, 60, percents, but I think this one sits just fine the way it is. I've never made a cocktail with it before. I wanted to try it with this Pataka because I feel like the Pataka goji berry and the wine notes from the cask in this will complement each other, but I feel like the fever tree or a little bit of carbonated water to make this into a highball that will lift it up a bit more. And because if you just put those two together, I feel like it's probably going to be just a sugar bomb, and it's going to be too much, and I won't like it. So the quinine will help with that. The elderflower flavor from that will sort of provide another herbal note. I think that it'll be fun, but let's see if we can't get anything else. And for the record, that dark chocolate note seems like it comes and goes. It's only ever on the first sip. The second and third sips, I've almost never had that dark chocolate. It's slow going. It's very slow going. Which again, for a sipper whiskey is exactly what you want. You don't want it to overwhelm you right out the gate with just flavors just all over the place, because that's, I'm not even sure what that flavor would be. Almost like a toasted red pepper. because I feel like that almost is where the burn is, but it's so mild that it feels more like a toasted pepper as opposed to just like raw or something like that. It's hard to explain. I guess you would just have to have like a toasted, like how people toast sesame seeds and stuff, toast peanuts. Toast with some red pepper flakes at some point, and you'll find that it's a little bit different than just having them on top of something. So there's a bit of that chocolate note again, but it's probably because I burped more than anything. Again, I try to keep that sound down. I hope it doesn't come across on the video, but it. There's blueberry. There's a lot of berry, and it's almost certainly because I don't have the regular Drumshanbo whiskey to go back and forth, but I don't remember the regular one having that much sweetness just hanging out. But that Pinot Noir cask is definitely adding a lot. Yeah, so for all the complexities that it has, they're all kind of muddled, which is if you're like me and you really want to like dig after all the flavor notes so you can play with them a little bit more, it's a little underwhelming. But if you're just wanting to drink a whiskey at room temperature with nothing added to it and enjoy it and enjoy the ride and find something new, that's going to be on your list. It's got to be. So if you can find a bottle of that and the price tag doesn't immediately scare you off, give it a go. If you find it at some bars, at least there's some here in town that specialize only in whiskeys, and they might have this sitting on a shelf and you could just try it and not have to, it's probably going to cost you $25 or something, but I don't know what those places are charging. I know they're arm and leg, but I think if you just wanted to give it a go, it would be worth it before you bought it. That's the good thing about bars is I don't go to bars for the social aspect because I don't know if it's anxiety, if people want to call it that, but I'm so defensive about people being around me that I get a little unpleasant to be around in those situations. So if I go to bars, it's to try something before I go out and go buy it so I can drink it by myself. So I know I said we weren't going to do like a review of this thing, but we're just going to, just a splash, just so I can kind of give you something to work with if you were curious about this. Because I don't know how much this normally goes for. I found it on their their closeout discount thing. So I mean, it could be a $40 bottle for all I know, and I picked it up for $17. I think it was what it was. But it's only 22%. It has like a rose gold color to it, and that's going to be because of it's a cognac, a very light cognac, watered down with berry juice. It smells like sugar. Again, I don't know what a goji berry smells like. I don't know what a goji berry tastes like. But if it smells like that, it smells an awful lot like a cranberry flavored cotton candy. It would be like the closest thing I could think of as far as smell goes. There's got to be a lot of sugar in that. That's why I was like, just don't mix those by themselves. The mask is sometimes very irritating because it likes to move around while I'm talking, but yeah. Yep. I don't know what a goji berry tastes like, but if it tastes like that, I'll eat them. It tastes almost like an overly sweet lingonberry, with like no tartness whatsoever, but way too much sugar. So if that's what they tasted like, if that's actually what they tasted like, I would have to do it like cranberries, where you add like citric acid and stuff to it to kind of balance it out. But I wouldn't add any more sugar, that's for damn sure. But cocktail time. I have my little jigger here. And believe it or not, I've had this for so long that I don't remember what size this is. So I'm just going to assume that this is a half, and this is a 1, this is a 2. It's got to be. There's no markings on it whatsoever, but that looks like a 2 to me. So we'll find out. There is my glass, and we are once again using Fever Tree, the little tiny bottle here. And I believe the ratio I settled on was we're going to do 3 ounces of Drumshanbo. Watch me drop this horrible incident. Sometimes I really wish I could dish the gloves too, but especially right now, the cork is coming apart. Something to be aware of. Maybe 2. That's probably a little more than 3, but that's fine. Nobody likes a weak cocktail. And then we're going to do, that does not look like 3 ounces. That's got to be, I don't believe that. So we're going to do, we're just going to call it jigs right now, because I don't know. We're going to do 2.5 of that then. There, that looks a little better. And yes, I know the bottom ones are different, but I'm only dirtying up one side, so I don't end up with a bunch of sticky whiskey or anything. And we're gonna do half a jig here of that, because it's plenty sweet. There's a lot of sweetness in that. I don't have any ice. I don't keep ice. I don't know why I don't keep ice. I was never got into the habit of actually keeping it around, and it's always to my own detriment, because I feel there's a bunch of stuff that I do that ice would actually assist me with. But and because we did that, the ratio for a highball is usually 2 to 1. I feel like that will do just fine. All right, and we'll adjust on the fly because of it's just a little cocktail experiment. Whatever smells there are gone now. But it is pretty good. But I feel like it needs a little more whiskey. Just because the Pataka isn't strong flavor, but it's so sweet. Give this a strong pour. There we go. So that's going to be 3.5 jigs, half a jig, and then half a bottle. Yeah, there we go. Now I'm starting to get some of that whiskey coming through. That's it. For that to being that expensive of a whiskey, this might not be your first thought for a cocktail of literally watering it down and stuff, but I feel like I could drink that about all day, and I'm a bit of a power drinker, but I try not to drink like that anymore, because it was starting to get a little out of hand and fucking up my life. But this is a good summer drink. The whiskey is still coming through. I'm still picking up a lot of those berry notes from the Pinot Noir cask. A lot of the classic Irish whiskey notes are kind of subdued, which is almost disappointing. Maybe if I had used less of the tonic water, if I measured it, but it was carbonated, I didn't want to keep splashing it all over the place. But no, they're there. I should have done the Pataka maybe half, because I feel like that sugar is really mellowing everything out a little too much. It's not letting the whiskey work. I could pick up all the berry notes from the Pinot Noir cask, but it's those whiskey notes themselves. The honey is still kind of there, but I can't tell between it and the Pataka already having a bunch of sugar in it. I can't tell. Maybe the heather's still there, but the elderflower from the tonic water here. No, that's from the whiskey. And see the quinine in there. A lot of people don't like the taste of quinine, but I feel like it adds something to a lot of stuff. But as far as this, let's drinking this, ignoring the components it came from as best as possible. I can still taste that goji berry liqueur. The quinine comes through. All the berries and flowers and stuff are still there. They're all kind of grouped together, and now it's kind of harder to pick them out. So it's almost more like, but none of them taste artificial, which is nice. It's almost more like that bouquet effect that the Meili vodka had, where it's all those things, but it's harder to discern which one is which, and they're all kind of merged together. The dark chocolate note from the whiskey is completely gone. But there's still that sort of menthol effect. It's very reduced because it's watered down. There's the honey flavor is definitely not from the Pataka. It's definitely from the whiskey. So the whiskey's not completely reduced, but I feel like the ratio would be off. I'm not a person who normally likes highballs to begin with, and the ratio is usually like 2-to-1 water, or 2 water to 1 whiskey. I feel like if I'd done this again, and knowing what I know now, I probably would have cut that water down by half, so it would have been more like a 1-to-1. And I feel like that would be a more even distribution of the flavors. But I don't want to just keep dumping whiskey into this and trying to save it. It doesn't need saving. It's just, I feel like that was a misuse of the whiskey. It didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, but also I didn't measure this. The bottle is 6.8 ounces. I used about half of it, so maybe that would be about. Unless I'm mistaken, it would almost be like a 1-to-1, right? I don't know. I'm not good at math. I'm just good at drinking things. But it would be helpful if I knew what size this was, because if this is 1 ounce, which I don't think it is, but it's not listed. If it's 1 ounce, then it's almost 1-to-1 ratio. If these are 2 ounces, and there's more whiskey in there than there is water, and the water is just enough to disrupt the flavors. So my ruling on this experiment, and it was just an experiment, is that Drumshanbo is probably best enjoyed neat, or maybe on the rocks if you like to have it cold for some reason. I feel like the flavor profiles are so volatile that they need to be warm, or room temperature, not really warmed, but maybe warming a little bit might do something. I don't know, but I would say enjoying it room temperature straight is probably the play. This isn't like going to get thrown away. It's drinkable. It's just I wish the whiskeys, the more that whiskey complexity made it through, and the glass and the drink are very cool, and it feels very very nice right now. So, whiskey by itself, I give like a 7 out of 10. The Pataka is like a 3 because it's just sugar and like berry flavoring. I almost, for $17, I almost feel like that's a waste. If you have goji berries, or you can access goji berries, you could probably make a better liqueur or syrup yourself. The mixed drink, not a failure, but just not. I wouldn't order it again if I bought it from somebody. So, with all things said, what do I want to do next? What do I want to do next? I need to research shochu and make sure I don't sound like an idiot talking about it next time. Because if I'm going to not like it, I have to not like it the right way. Or, you know what I haven't done is I haven't done I've done a whole slew of like Asian liquors and whiskeys now. When I was digging through my shelf, I found out that I have an extremely limited edition mezcal. And normally I'm very, I haven't opened it in so long because it is so limited edition that I've been so unwilling to open it that I almost forgot I had it. I found it while looking for something else. And I think that will be the next one. It would be better saved for November, the Day of the Dead and all. But I don't want to get stuck in a rut. I did too many whiskeys at one point, did all these things, it's a good thing I said that, I reminded myself. I have a cocktail in mind that I'm experimenting with. You can see that a lot of this has gone missing now. The Fine American Blended Whiskey, which is actually 40% vodka. We've already discussed this. 60% vodka. I've got a cocktail that I'm working on. It's a sort of a riff on an old fashioned. I'm using smoked cherries and smoked black pepper. And I experimented with it about a week ago, I think, and it came out good, but I used too much of that smoked black pepper, and it was just like, it was spicy and it was sweet, and it was awesome, but I don't think that's for everybody. I'm a sweet heat guy. If you took that flavor that I had made in that glass, and you mix that with some molasses and ketchup, made a barbecue sauce out of it, it'd be fucking sick. But I don't think drink wise that's for everybody. But I have potentially a plan for this, and I'm going to be revisiting that pretty soon. And speaking of that, the white rum, I have plans for it loosely, because it's not as sweet as the vodka was. That was my big complaint between those two. The vodka, I don't want to do a vanilla extract because it's really, really easy to do, and everybody does one. And I'm so pretentious that I can't just do what everybody else is doing. So maybe some vanilla, but I'm also thinking of like hibiscus or something along those lines. Maybe some cacao, and just like doing a weird extract of super flavorful things in that. And then because the rum had virtually no fucking flavor, I'm thinking about doing some more traditional tropical type things, or we're getting weird with it because I might be able to split that in half into a different container. And I've got like hawthorn and some other things that I might be able to like create something interesting out of it, but that warrants further experimentation, and it's so goddamn hot that I'm worried if I start messing with it, whatever I do just goes bad. So I've been hesitant. When the temperature starts to go down a little bit, in 3 weeks, 4 weeks, who the fuck knows? That will be on the game plan. But for the meantime, I think my next video is going to be the mezcal. And if anybody's still watching this or made it this far, I'll just show the bottle real fast because it's kind of neat looking. Here's your sneak preview of the next video, I guess. Yes. It's very good looking bottle. The entire thing is in Spanish, so if you expect me to be able to read any of that, this is not going to happen. It is made in Mexico, and you can't get it. But I'll save that explanation for the video itself. That is really good stuff too. But I almost wish I'd done that instead. But anyway, 35 fucking minutes. Good. And my mask is all fucked up. This has been the Drumshanbo Pinot Noir Cask whiskey review and a cocktail that didn't work out the way I wanted it to. And it's really hot, and the alcohol is actually starting to affect me because I've been sampling and tasting things, trying to get my mind ready for doing this video. But this has been all done in one take, and I didn't have to go back and restart. So fucking A.